Flosstube.
Greetings.
I'm Laura.
I'm Joe.
Welcome to the Slovak Farm.
This is the farm where we grow cross-stitch.
One stitch at a time. Today is Monday, March 17th. Happy St. Patrick's Day, y'all. St. Patrick's is the patron saint of Ireland. And Americans celebrate St. Patrick's Day far more than the Irish seem to, actually. I know lots of weird.
Can I say something that might seem a little offensive, but I don't think an Irishman would actually disagree with me?
What?
St. Patrick's Day is a day where Americans pretend to be Irish when it comes to drinking habits.
Probably true.
I mean, I literally have never heard of somebody drinking an Irishman under the table.
Irish take it a little bit more solemnly because it is the feast of a saint, St. Patrick. Not only did St. Patrick bring Catholicism to the Irish island, he actually was, prior to that, was held captive in Ireland and was a slave to an Irish king. He self-emancipated, ran away, went back to England, became a priest. By the time he became a bishop, he felt the call to go to Ireland and actually convert the Irish to the Catholic faith. So, like, the fact that he actually converted the Irish island to the Catholic faith is kind of outstanding, in the fact that he had been a slave for 5 or 6 years prior to, at one point, he had been held in slavery in Ireland.
I actually was listening to the Christian station.
Yes.
And they had one of the singers is Irish. And he's like, St. Patrick was the boss. Because he's like, that man had no chill. He went up to kings, lords, druids, all brought them to this place. It's like a mile, it's about an hour footpath into wild country. And then asked them to take a knee before God.
He was.
So, the pair of stones on a guy who looks up to a king and goes, hey, I want you to take a walk with me a mile into the wilderness so you can pray to God.
And fun fact, St. Patrick was born during a time when priests could actually get married. Once upon a time in the Catholic Church, priests could actually get married, and St. Patrick's grandfather was a priest in the Catholic Church. There you go. There you go. And I have a whole bunch of wonderful facts about the fact that corned beef is not actually an Irish dish and blah, 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 blah. But you're not here for that. Some of you do like our history lessons or the things that we talk about. We'll get into the stitching because it is actually kind of a busy day. I have Ladies Guild meeting tonight, so I actually have the potatoes and carrots for our corned beef because even though it's not really a particularly Irish meal, I will eat it. Because any excuse to have corned beef is a good excuse in my book. And if I was a heartier human, I would go stand in line at Slyman's Deli in Cleveland and get one of their Reubens that are like this tall. Literally. They are huge.
Okay. Alright. I oversliced the tomato on my sandwich and you could barely eat it. And it was half that size and you said you couldn't eat it.
I know.
So what would you do with that?
One of these days, non-St. Patrick's Days, we will go to Slyman's.
Hey, honey.
What?
No, we're going to get the Slyman's, bring it home, I'm going to turn that on, and we're going to record you eating it so I can pay for the hospital bill.
Well, we can video it on a phone. Yeah. Okay. So, let's get to the stitching stuff, maybe? I don't know. I had a card class this afternoon. It was not a card class of one. Thankfully, there was 3 other ladies in the class with me. So I do have cards to show. I have stitching to show. I have my diamond painting to show, and I have. I gotta go.
Are we doing anything Wednesday?
No, I have PSR.
I know that part. No, because I'm going to try to force myself to continue to stitch because I miss cross stitching. I'm just so flipping busy. Yeah, I have 4 major projects I need to get done ASAP. Help!
I'm sorry.
You gave me half of them. Oh, 3 of them. Only one of them was actually your idea. The other 2 are just maintenance, actually.
Okay. Okay, well, let's shout out our commenters from the last video.
Hi, y'all! Thank you for commenting.
Because I can't shout out the viewers because it doesn't tell me who viewed, but I know people watched.
Teresa, Andre, Bridget, Andrea, Ann, Beth Ann, Janet, Lynn, and Tamara. Beth Ann watched one of our videos?
She watches our videos. She just doesn't always comment. Because sometimes she watches them like a week or two later. I'm not going to lie. I do that with videos too anymore. Sometimes I watch them a week or two later.
Oh, don't worry. I'm watching this one guy on a TikTok, on an app you don't like. But he does, he's a preacher nerd who does Star Trek lore videos versus other fandoms. And it's hysterical the way he does it.
Oh.
And it's informative about about many hobbies, so it's fun.
Okay. Well, you know.
The things I do for fun.
Yes. We are going to start with whips then. We go into whips. You have the whips.
Need to fix that this week.
Yes, we do. Okay. I have whips. I have Star Touched Meadow February Block, which is Violet and Iris. Some of my color printing was a little jacked up when I was printing stuff off not that long ago, so it doesn't look completely great. I did 520 stitches on this. This is on a 16 count Ada. I did 520 stitches on it before I realized I had done 520 stitches on it. So all of this darker purple up here, this darker purple color that I'm pointing at, is what I stitched last Monday. And I was just stitching away, and stitching away, and stitching away, because those triangles, those diamonds are really repetitive, and they're fairly easy. So, as I do, I was just stitching away, and I got all done, and I counted them, and I went, oh, I did 520 stitches.
What was the goal?
300!
I wonder if you could have stitched 80 more and asked in this count for next week, too.
No. No, because to build a challenge, you have to have a stop photo at your
No. Say, hey, I did 600. Can it count for this week and next week?
No, it doesn't work like that.
I know, but it would have been nice.
I know.
Then you do that and go, whoops.
It is what it is. It is what it is. Okay. So, for Australian Labradoodle Week, I stitched on one project for the whole week. That was A Good Tyke by Long Dog Samplers. Long Dog, obviously, Long Dog gets her name from the Greyhound. I didn't know this until a couple years ago, and I was like, how did I not know that? But they get their name from the Greyhound, because they're long dogs. So,
Ching, ching.
nope, this way. This is on a 32 count Royal Blue, and I did 1,029 stitches on this. So this is something that has a dog, something that could be finished in 12 to 15 days. Considering the fact that I did 1,000 stitches on it in 2 days, 12 to 15 days is possible. Something that contains a coat of some sort, something that has a water source on it, dog's water source for the lawn, and you had some colors to stitch in. I did all of my stitches in black. So I finished this portion of the verse that runs down here, and did some of this portion of the border. That was my 200 stitches. Then I decided I need a little color in my life for this project. So I came up here and I did this vine. There is actually a part you can't see that I stitched. I did some little design in there. This little vine, this was already stitched. And then added the colors to these areas. I don't have the color all stitched in this guy. But that is 1,029 stitches. So yes, I feel like with doing 1,000 stitches on this in 2 days, yeah, 12 to 15 days would be feasible. I stitched on it consistently. I probably, yeah. And I've not stitched on it anywhere close to that, like actual stitching time. I think most of my stitching time is like a day. I think I've probably put maybe 6 or 8 days in on this, if that. And then with that, forgive me, I took out my monthly project and started banging out monthlies because I only had 4 monthlies done, and we were at like the halfway point of the month. I need to get on those, right? So, Cathedral Wood Goddess is my monthly offering for this month. This girl and I had a good time this weekend. Oh, I forgot something. It's okay. I did 4 monthly prompts on her, which got me 1,219 stitches. She's on a kind of custom even weave, 32 even weave. I say kind of custom. I know what gray I used. I dumped some brown in here. I don't remember what brown it was. So yeah, it's kind of custom. But I think I have I have all the stitching done on this thing of leaves. Her dress is all stitched in. I redid the beading on her collar. I had to pick up some ninja stitches around here, and where else did I work? That was it. So I have the other side of leaves to finish, and I have beads to add here. And I have beads to add.
Hey, honey, is that the light at the end of the tunnel?
That is the light of the end of the tunnel. Holy Lord, love a duck with this beading, though. If y'all ain't ever done a Mirabilia and beaded like this, don't start with this one. The green beads on her collar that I did, I had to pull them out. Many of you will remember, I had to pull them out because they weren't sitting right and they were making her necklace look all jacked up. So when I pulled them out, the necklace ended up sitting right. So I went through and did the beading kind of, I started at the center and worked out in each direction. I didn't put all of the beads that it calls for in there because there's just not room and it doesn't look right.
Is it supposed to be done on a...
Yes. This is the called for fabric. This is the called for fabric size. It is what it is. If I had it to do over again, yeah, I would do the collar differently, but I don't, and I had the materials, so. And yes, we are at the light at the end of the tunnel. Oh, so the prompts that I did her for, H-E-T and B in crochet bag, horns, elegant, tree, and babe.
Oh, come on.
Now,
that's a babe. Flatly. Also, it was stitched by a babe.
Thank you. Hold, please. So, I did not get a lot of stitching time done on Thursday. It was EGA day. And that was just like... Stitching time at EGA day was non-existent. We were chatting. I'm on the nominating committee to find a new treasurer. That's not going well. Because I think I got all those. And then, of course, we had a project that we do at EGA.
Excuse me.
Yep, you're it. So anyways, so I didn't have a lot of stitching time on Thursday. Friday, I was running errands, and between running errands in the morning and then stations, I didn't have a lot of stitching time on Friday either. But I did bang out at least, so I only got like done those 2 days. But I went to town on Saturday and got 2 prompts done. In addition to working on Cathedral Goddess on Thursday, at EGA Day, our lesson, our class of the month, whatever we call it, one of the members, a wonderful guy named Mike, showed us his hand embroidery constellations. So mine is Aries because it's my zodiac sign. I'm the Ram. And I did this all at EGA. Now, granted, he gave us the lovely interfacing with the design drawn on the back of it. And he basically showed us his technique for doing it, and his technique for doing it was really easy, and mine was fairly simple. And the stars do glow in the dark. Plus, he gave us all of the materials to FFO it. I do need to do that. No lie. No falsehoods here. I need to FFO it. Would like to get it FFO'd sooner rather than later, actually. So, with that, on Sunday I decided I was tired of stitching on Cathedral Wood Goddess because it had been 4 days and it had been 3 days and I had done 4 prompts. And I was actually at the point where I had only 2 prompts left. I was tired of stitching on her. And we got a pop-up event in Daily 30 for Pi Day for the weekend. And if I did 314 stitches, I would get 2 passes. One of those 2 passes was a pass for the monthly. And at that point in time, not having to do one of the monthlies, really appealing to me. And then I remembered I have my stitch discount for the monthly, so I only have to do like 100 more stitches on Cathedral Wood Goddess, and technically I'm done with her for the monthly. And I'm probably going to take that softball this month. Because I'm just over it. But what I did do was, for the Pi Day pop-up, hopefully over our faces at this junction, you are seeing a preview of the chart that I pulled. It is a freebie from Doreen Jones. We had to tie it into either pi or the numbers 3, 1, and 4. There are 4 T labels on this. It's called T labels. There are 4 T labels on this, so I did the number 4. And then I just started working on it towards getting it done as far as a small for the ornament along for the month. So there it is. So that was 784 stitches. I just have to finish doing the blue background and put some backstitch in, label my T labels, and give some definition to, because that's mint, that's green tea, that's mint tea, that's green tea, that's lemon tea, that's cherry tea. So the backstitching does give it some definition. And yes, it is full coverage. And yes, I am doing it on a piece of colored fabric because I had this fabric, it was the right size, and I didn't have to cut anything for it. This is one of the fabrics when I started dyeing fabrics I tested with. And there may be a little bit of fabric showing when I finally FFO this. So this color is kind of nice with it. So that's that. I did get some work done on my crochet piece, but to see the difference between, because I had started the shell stitch section when I showed you guys, and you could probably see the difference. I'm just going to show you when I get done with each section. It's just easier on my brain. And probably you guys, because like, I don't have before pictures and you're like, well, how much did you do? I don't really remember. Sometimes I get more done than other times. So, I did bring my diamond painting down to show you guys. I got this top section that I was working on done, and I started another section. Yes, it is kind of hard to see where I'm working because of the way the plastic's on there. So that's where we're at with the diamond painting. And last but not least, today was card class day. So I made cards. Let Yes. Show you my cards. Let me show you my cards. And this is always such a pain in the butt. There's a piece of vellum over some pattern paper. It says, your kindness made my day. There's nothing on the inside. Joe would like to look at it. Very simplistic sort of thing. A not girly birthday card. Some little bits to make a cake. A tag, and then another tag on the inside. And the inside says, may your birthday be filled with love and laughter.
Cute.
It's very cute. Just a cute little card to say hello, sort of thing. Stamped the flowers there in that circle and colored them in. All the rest of that is the designer paper. It's got a cute little flower stamped inside. And we actually used the pretty paper to dress up our envelope flap, which is kind of cool. And then we had a fun fold card. It simply says, hello friend. And it folds out like this. And you've got some pretty papers on it. And you've got a white piece to write in. The blue flowers here and here were cut out from the pretty designer paper. And we added some blue ink accent to it to make it pretty. Cards were kind of simple today, but some good techniques to learn. You know, I like the fold on this card, so I'm definitely going to take the measurements off of it, and so I can recreate it. I thought that was fun. Put those to the side, and I believe, yes, that is all of my whippage. That's all the whips. Yay! Haul? Haul. Yes, I have haul. Yes, I have haul.
I usually find out about this during the videos.
haul from EGA last year. Before I joined, they did this really cool Biscorn U project to learn how to stitch, to learn how to make a Biscorn U. And our wonderful EGA president, Marcia, is a national designer, was a national designer for EGA national seminars and that sort of stuff. So, she designed this whole thing and she made it a really nice little, and she told me, she's like, you're going to have to pay for it, but I said I would pay for it. She finally got that to me because I really liked the Biscorn U and I actually wanted to make it. And she was willing to, make a copy of the chart for me so I could stitch it. Hold, please. As I said, I'm actively cooking the potatoes and the carrots for dinner. I also picked up off the freebie this mason jar, Merry Christmas mason jar from Imaginating to Stitch, because that's my aesthetic. We all know that. And then I had ordered some Stampin' Up! Stuff from a celebration. I ordered the Going to Market suite, so I got the paper with the cute vegetables. I got the embossing set that goes with the stamps. Those are the stamps, and most of the dies cut out these various shapes. There's some embellishments that go with it. I got this really cute set. There's stamps and book and dies. It says for the books. How adorable is that?
Very.
And there's dies that cut it out. And then, because it was Celebration, one of the free things that I got was this really cute set called Pick a Season. You do the tree, and it gives you various options to kind of fill in those blank spots. And you have a couple other things to add to it. I thought it was super cute. I did a card with it last month, and I thought it was super cute. And I was like, oh, I don't know what I want to get from Celebration now. And then, the most awful letdown of my life. The haul that I was eagerly anticipating last week when we filmed that I couldn't wait to get here. Letdown. It's a letdown. So I ordered from Annie's this beautiful kit to make this beautiful throw. I ordered it. The day after I ordered it, I got an email notification that said my order had shipped. Within the minute, because they are time-stamped at the exact same time of my shipping notification, I got a notification that said my order was canceled. So I emailed customer service and I said, hey, what's going on? I emailed customer service that night. I said, hey, what's going on? The next morning, I get an email from customer service that says, here's your tracking number. So I was eagerly awaiting my things to arrive. I ordered the kit to make this blanket. This is what showed up. Instructions on how to access my pattern and 3 balls of yarn. Now, I'm going to guess if you don't have to be a crocheter to realize what the problem here is.
That's enough to make a blanket for a teddy bear?
Exactly. Not enough yarn. The pattern calls for 4 balls of each of the 2 blues and 2 balls of the yellow. I have no idea what happened. I emailed them and I said, WTF is going on. This was on Wednesday that I emailed them, WTF is going on. Have not heard from them. I didn't even have an invoice in this package. So I went on to I went into our bank account. I was never charged for the kit, which is a good thing because if they would have charged me, I probably would be raising a lot more cane at this point. However, I am going to, oh, there's an 800 number on this slip of paper. Very good. I'm going to contact them at customer service and be like, WTF, because what is going on? Like,
I got a really simple way of getting them to call you real quick. Tell the bank not to accept any charges from that company, and when they go to bill you and they can't, they'll call you real quick.
The problem is this is the company that I get my monthly card kit from. So, I can't just stop their billing.
Darn it. Even he's upset.
I did get, like, the pattern. So, like, I'm thinking what happened is when I ordered the pattern, they had just restocked it from it being sold out for more than a month, and that was what they were advertising all over social media to get people to shop their website. I'm guessing they got more orders for it than they had kits available. And somebody wasn't supposed to tell me my order had shipped. I was supposed to get told my order was canceled. And somebody was trying to cover it up, basically. Make sure I wouldn't ask questions. Which, okay, if I'm not going to get my kit and you're not going to charge me, that's fine. Because I have my pattern, I can go out and buy the yarn myself. But I don't want you to come back in a month or two or down the road and say, oh, well, you owe us money because we sent you a kit you never paid for. No, you didn't send me a kit. It's like really the only reason I'm calling to complain is because I'm frustrated by that. And I have a mess over here next to me. But it's okay. And it's not something out of my reach. And yes, this is from the company that I get my card making kits from every month. It's from the company that publishes Just Cross Stitch magazine. My mom does monthly crochet kits with them. My mom is having problems with something she ordered. I don't really understand what's going on, but I'm definitely going to call them and find out. Okay. That's that. Let's go into plans. Because we have to talk about Zippo Week. I don't know where my pencil went. And then I did bring down the stuff to show you guys. I found it. I did bring down the stuff to show you guys what I was starting for my birthday. Alright. Zippa Week. Zippa. So weird week. Okay. So the first prompt is to stitch on a whip that represents an evolution either in your stitching or in the design/pattern itself. And please explain. So I would say Quaker Ball would be an evolution in myself.
That was actually the one I was thinking too, actually.
Yeah. So, Friday when we were on Zoom, Beth Ann and I were talking about that, and she said, yeah, that would be a good one for you.
By the way, evolution, I added a dimension.
Yeah. Stitch on a whip depicting clothing. Cal Lily Bride has clothing. Belle has clothing. The other two don't.
Cal Lily Bride.
This one perplexes me. Stitch on a whip that could be controversial for any reason, and please explain that controversy to receive credit. Guess who gets the grade, Zipper Week? Yours truly. Guess who's not really looking forward to that prompt? I mean, there is a gamut of things you could come up with for controversial, from changing flosses and fabric to the number of whips you have to... there's a number of controversies you could come up with.
I have an idea.
What?
Don't kill me. Patriotic picnic. And just go, what's controversial? The United States government at this point in time.
Being that I am the person grading it, well, I'm the only person I gotta get... And I thought about that. This is a 400 stitch count week, so I'm fine with doing multiple projects for each one. I do have a...
I would free pass that one if it were available. Because that's just asking for trouble and drama.
I do have a free pass that I can use. So last week I actually did all of the prompts and used my free pass for Build a Challenge to get me an extra point. It's not going to happen with the 400 stitch count week. Okay. Number 4. Stitch on your most popular whip or your oldest whip. Your choice.
Cal Lily Bride, Mira and Nora are very popular.
They are. You are right. She is. And then stitch on a whip that depicts safety. So, whips I have not stitched on yet. Calla Lily Bride, Quaker Ball, Winter Quaker, Belle, Patriotic Picnic, and Leave a Kiss. Hold, please, while you're thinking that. Okay, so yeah, we were discussing this. I don't really think I have anything that depicts safety. Now,
I have one that's controversial if you want to consider it safety. Because it is in a very secure location. Very secure. That's the part of the real whole thing behind the story. Belle. She's very safe in her jail cell.
She's very safe in that castle. She is safe in that castle because when she goes out and the wolves attack, the beast comes and defends her.
Plus the fact that literally all of the furniture will whoop your ass. I barely caught myself.
The furniture does kick butt at the... Okay. We're going to spin that. Also, I am grading this week, so I'm...
Also, no. Scribble that out. Controversial Stockholm Syndrome.
There's that, too.
I'm not kidding. To this day, some people say that the story Beauty and the Beast is
Stockholm Syndrome.
And it's not a good story to tell.
Yes. Okay. Let's get through this so that I can go eat my dinner. Because I would like to eat my dinner.
Okay, well, you're the one holding up the million projects.
Okay.
Like,
so,
we can do this next week because it can get done.
Let's get this done. I have them down here. So I knew 3 of the whips I wanted to start for birthday month. And then I decided, because at some point, it was in 2020 when I decided the world was going to crap. I was starting a bunch of stuff for my birthday, and it just kind of has continued on. I decided I was going to start one new thing a week, which is what I have been doing. I decided that my new start would be on Tuesdays that week. That way we could work it into a prompt. I wouldn't disrupt my monthly groove. And there are 5 Tuesdays in April. So, I have 5 things to start. Let's start with the first thing that I wanted to start for my birthday is called Romping in the Sunflowers. It is by Lindy Stitches. It is the Dogs in the Garden series fall. It is a Gestis Greyhound.
Did you ask her for that?
No, I did not. You think a designer like Lindy Stitches actually speaks to me?
Hey, honey, it's your favorite dog and your favorite flower.
I know, right? And I'm doing it on this pretty blue fabric. It does work. I've made sure it does. So that will be one of my starts. I have yet to decide what order we're doing this in.
Actually, I think the flavors of the week will determine that.
This is true. I let Joe pick out... Technically, I let Joe pick out 2 of the 5. He definitely picked out this one. This is Happily Ever After. It is one of the projects by Glory B. It's one of the projects that I got from Stan Hewitt's Ohio Mart weekend that is fully kitted up. Joe pulled several options out and we kind of narrowed it down. This is the one he definitely picked. This one is one of the ones that was in the running, and when I realized there was 5 weeks in April, I just picked this one because it looked like a good idea. This is it is a stamped kit. It is a geisha. What is it called? Female geisha red. It is one of those stamped fabric kits, so it is all kitted. The fabric stamped. It's good to go. I also may have possibly realized that there were 5 weeks in April after I was in the midst of kitting up all of these projects and going, oh my god, there's so much floss. And just wanted something that was already kitted. The 2 granddaddies of this project world are going to be Joan Elliott's Sunflower Fairy.
I wasn't kidding about the sunflowers being your favorite flower.
I have a theme. I think the only thing I don't have for this is the Crinix. But I need to order some other flosses for projects. So they'll get ordered. Hopefully they'll get here by the time I need them, but then. And then this project. Crosswing. What is it? Crosswing Collections. What is it called? Glory in the Morning. This is a 2-foot tall sunflower. The stitched area is 507 by 138. On 16 count, it is 31.5 inches tall by 8 5/8 inches wide. I needed a piece of fabric that was 38 by 15. And yes, if you it's hard to see on camera, but the fabric they stitched it on is something from their own collection, and it is blue on the top and green on the bottom. It's in progress. Hopefully it dries a lot lighter than it's looking right now, because it's awful dark. all hope is not lost. I can cut another piece of fabric, and if it's too dark, I will just thin the dye out with water. Like, I'll water the dye down. Because the two colors are actually good, and the two colors do actually go together. They're just darker than I want. So if it dries darker than I want it to be, I can thin the water. I can thin the dyes out and try again. Plus side, I did find a good green to make grass colored fabric. So there is plans for us for the week and for my birthday. That is all we have. It has been 40 minutes, so I want my dinner. Can y'all tell I'm hungry today?
Yeah.
No, I'm just rushed. I want to make sure I have time to enjoy my dinner before I have to go over to the church.
Then let me say the outro part and we can get done. Stop trying to explain it.
Yes.
Please like, share, subscribe, comment, bell notification, all that stuff. All the YouTube, please be happy. Comment below. What did you have on Monday?
What did you have for St. Patrick's Day? Because corned beef and cabbage is not traditional Irish. Ew.
And we're not having cabbage because if it's cooked in my house, I'm not coming home.
We're not having cabbage. He does not like cabbage, and
I hate cabbage. No, I don't dislike it. I actively, if you put cabbage in front of me, I will get a sword and chop it in half. Trauma.
He has some trauma with cabbage. He does not do cabbage. And for me, a whole head of cabbage is just way too much because cabbage in my system don't necessarily get along.
Boom.
We'll just leave it at that. So, thank you all so much for spending some time with us this week. We hope you had a good time. We hope you were entertained. We hope you enjoyed yourself. We hope maybe you learned something. I don't know. And we hope to see you back next week. Until then,